Hello YouTube, Dave Smalley, Geeks Garage. Tonight will be totally unstructured. Uh, you may remember I bought this miter saw, probably 30 years old, on Craigslist for the grand total of $42. Pretty good deal for 42 bucks. However, it had some issues. Dirty, gritty as hell, so I got it all apart and cleaned up there, so all the grit's out. I think this was used to cut stone, mostly. Then as I was using it, make sure, yeah, my plug is unplugged. As I was using it, hear that click? When I let it go, it wouldn't click and it stayed running. Now, good thing I had it plugged in here and it was easy enough to shut it off. But so, in order to attempt to repair that click, I took some screws out of here. I took some screws out of here. Oh joy! I also got to take screws out of here. Wonderful. So that means I had to take all this off, and then, in process of doing all of that, for some reason, oh yeah, in order to get to these screws, you have to take the whole motor off. And that particular screw wouldn't come out, period. I managed to get the others out by beating on it and, a lot of persuasion. But this one I had to end up grinding off and totally destroying it. Now, my Dixie Ace Hardware. If you're in the Miami area and you need specialty screws, Dixie Ace Hardware on US 1 at roughly 67th Avenue-ish had the right screws. I didn't even have to cut them down. Allen heads, not those stupid Phillips. So I had buggered up these Phillips screws over here to hold this piece on. And I had boogered up these, and they had everything and a couple other screws that I needed for my motorcycle. So I'm really happy with Dixie Ace Hardware down on Useless One. All right, blah blah blah. What I'm going to attempt to do tonight. All right, so miter saw, chop saw. And look, now the guard works properly. It's all well lubricated. I was really, really, really happy as I was putting it back together. I checked my square up and down and my square against the fence, and both were really good. I mean, they weren't quite perfect, but this is woodworking, folks. They don't need to be perfect. So anyway, really, really happy with how square it is. Now, here's my little problem. I am going to be cutting, as you may have seen, 22-degree table legs for my little squirrel picnic tables. And, oh, no, I'm going to cut it this way. Okay, so when I cut this way, if there's a problem, the workpiece will tend to fly out this way and not get jammed against the saw. If I was cutting it this way, it could get jammed against the saw and really cause some excitement. So if something goes wrong, it'd probably just flip it out. I had a block of wood approximately here. Maybe, I forget exactly where it was, probably way out here. And the problem with that is this block of wood could cause a pinch point. So what I want is what's called a stop block that will flip up out of the way. So I'll set it there, slide my piece of wood in place, lock it to the stop block, lock it in place, and flip the stop block up and out of the way. I built one that is really crappy for my table saw. It works. It's crappy, but it works. You know, put it in place, lock it in. This thing here allows me to get very precise measurements of where it stands. When I've got the piece of wood in, I flip it up out of the way. So it's functional. It's crooked, imperfect, but it works. So I could put it here, but I've decided I've made a few bucks. I'm going to spend the $40-ish to get the track and the really cool little metal flipper dude. But even their little cool little metal flipper dude doesn't have this precise adjustment that I have. So I'm going to be drilling a hole in it and building a precise adjustment into it. So what? What I'm doing tonight, this piece of 2x4 was my first attempt at a fence for the table saw sled. Major failure. I didn't have a planer to get this thing totally smooth the way I wanted. I was trying to fool around with the router and the table saw, and it just didn't work. So I built it out completely different. So what this is going to be now is going to be an extension to this fence, and I've already put what I want to cut out here and then down here to fit down in here. Here. You guys are kind of secondary here. YouTube, you are the folks that I care about. Don't care about Facebook anymore. So to give you a quick idea what's going on back here. So you can see now what I want. So there's the upside down thing. I would like this to be the same height as the table. So I want this to sit at this height and come in about that far. See that line there? So that's supposed to line up with that. Now, I miscalculated, as I want to do. I calculated the bottom to be here. I forgot that I want the bottom to be down here, not up here. So I've got to kind of spend some time fixing my layout. So that's what you're going to see me attempting to do. All right, so let's get you back in place. And I want to send another huge shout out thanks to all of the woodworkers in YouTube are helping me learn how to work with wood. I've been learning a ton of stuff from YouTube. Thank you, Jeff. It's mostly gentlemen. Come on, ladies, get with the picture. All right, so let's get this thing so that I can continue measuring, and this time maybe do it properly. Good thing I keep my scrap. I usually keep my scrap. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, I'd used a piece of cardboard to get in here and carve around loosely in order to make this cutout, which is now flawed, because again, I need to get it up that much. So everything's got to move up. Let's get some measuring devices. Okay, so this line has to move up this much. Get your little square. These are really good squares. These little machinist squares. I've got the little guy, there's a 4-inch one. I've got a couple of 12 inchers, but get the machinist combination square from someplace that sells machine tools, not Harbor Freight. Their stuff is too cheap. Okay, so that line, that didn't help me much, did it? Okay, so what I need to do, let's put a line here just as a quick reference. So all of that's gonna be carved out all the way. Okay, here's where that line is. Alright, so that's there, so that's there. Okay, so I need to, this is how far I've got to make this cut. Okay. So basically, and I need to cut it in this deep. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, so this piece of metal in the final chapter is going to fit inside of here. So this will come up and fit right here and extend out. And the top of this will go right even with that. Oh, and I've already got the mark. Okay, so there's where am I? So that's going to go. Okay, so I need. Cut out all of this. But all of that has to happen on this side. Okay, that's what I knew there was something wrong with my approach there. Okay, so what I can do is at least do this overall. Can I do this? There's the point. And that's it. Okay, so this is going to be where. Is that right? Hi, baby.
Hi, Papa.
That's not
Have
right.
you ever heard of an endorsed?
I'm filming.
Oh, sorry. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna just put that there. So I got the height right. And now that's gonna go to here. Which is, alright, so I already got the mark here. I've got this height. Let me use that height before I change things. Okay, so a good way to do this, this needs to be somewhat solid. This, see that little groove there where this little thing locks in? That works really nice for your pencil. Stick it in that little groove, and then if you hold your square straight, you can get a nice even line there. Okay, so now this measurement has to move to the top of this measurement. Great. Not a very simple way to do that. Oh, let's do this. Okay, I do have my lengths good. So this height is good. So how can I get that height? How can I get that height? This is really sloppy way to do it. But I'm gonna do it this way. Okay. So now this has to be extended up to here. Being that was a really sloppy technique anyway, I'm going to put it on the high side because a little bit too much is not going to hurt anything. slide it along here. So that goes up to there. Alright, so notice how I put X's here. I don't know if you can see the X's. That tells me that's what I want to cut out. And this goes in a bit deeper than I had thought. I want to go all the way in. Shit. Is that going to go all the way? Just leaving the tiniest little hair, which is usually stupid. Usually it's stupid to leave a little hair like that. Alright, so first big order of business that I need to deal with is I need to cut this slot. And I've already got some marks here. Right, so this is going to sit right here. So it does start at the top of this. Alright, so see that bar there? I've got to make a slot for that bar to fit. And okay, that goes from there pretty much right to the end. No, it doesn't. That's alright, so if this is flush. Oh, there's my line right there. Okay, here's my angle. Stopping there. Which is, yeah, makes sense because that's the top of this piece. Okay. So transfer that over here. That stops right there, which is where it should stop. And let's bring it on over. All right. So I'm going to use a hacksaw to make this slot. I'm going to do it this way. Now that slot wants to be on this side of this line, this wide. So let's start being a little bit more professional and neat. Okay, so this one there. How thick is it? Oh, almost perfectly 1/8 of an inch. So I'll make it a touch larger than 1/8 of an inch, which is right there. And let's get our nice square line. Okay. All right, so the goal is to do hacksaw cut at this angle here. Right there, so when that goes in place, it slips inside of there. All right, let's see if I remember how to use a hacksaw. Oh joy. That's too small over there. I think what I'll do is I'll just use some clamps on this table. Right there. Yeah, that way I think I can control things a bit better. Alright, so let's get a couple clamps. Clamp me, baby! You know, in the woodworking videos. People are poo-pooing these so-called F clamps. They're new to me, and frankly, I like them. I'm a C-clamp guy. That was where all my training was with C-clamps, and C-clamps are good machines. But these things are pretty versatile. I'm real happy with mine. All right. You know, I like that you can do that right there. I can slide them quickly. They say that they put a twist in the wood. I don't see that. There's a ball there, and I untwist things. So I don't understand the criticisms. You know, I'm able to lock them down nice and neat, nice and quick. I'm real happy with them. All right, so yeah, and I got room there. Hacksaw. Okay, I got a fine hacksaw. Got two hacksaws. I have me a crappy hacksaw. My mom passed away, and I inherited her hacksaw. All right, this is the one with the coarser teeth. Yeah. Okay, let's get my angle right. Ooh, way down like that. Okay. Way down. All right, I'm inside of the left hand line. Come on, baby. I love hacksaws. But they can be challenges. Okay, see how quickly it's going to move through that wood? Okay, let's make sure there's my angle. Let's keep to the angle. Oop, way down there. Boy, I keep pulling down, okay. This is really, really, really sloppy work on my part. My God, am I doing a terrible job. Gee whiz, Batman. I went crooked almost right away. So now I'm trying to fix the crookedness. Dude, that was awful. Okay, let's see how bad I am. Okay, I'm about right. Whew, what a terrible job. Gee whiz. Man, I may need to use a saw to clean this up. This is terrible. Wow. No idea I would do such a bad job. Yeah. All right, well, let's continue. Continue the bad job. I've really screwed up the width of this hole, so I'm trying to use the hacksaw cockeye and just carve it out. This is terrible work. Alright, it ought to get me close enough where I should go back to here to carve it on this side. Awful. Awful. Okay. I don't think I've quite got 1/8 of an inch. This doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm not obsessing over it. That's about 1/8. Let's see. See how bad it is. Now there's one thing I'm learning about these. If you're going to use F-clamps, leave it stored with a little bit showing, because just now you saw where it gets to the end and it can be difficult to take apart. Alright, well I haven't done the width yet. So, boy, that's just awful. Wow. That's what I get for not being careful enough and busy talking while I was working. So let's, now you get to see me to try and recover from sloppiness. Because that was sloppy. Very sloppy. But hey, sometimes you can be sloppy and get away with it. Sometimes you can't. Trouble is I don't have a thin rasp. Yeah, this is, I think, still much larger. Yeah, this is much larger. All right, there's a good rasp. And I got a nice big file in here, but they're just not appropriate for this job. So, let's go look for another file. I got some cuties over here. See if these are small enough. This is a beautiful little half round. And I think I can use this. This handle might be too big. This is a file handle. that handle's way too big. That's for the big one. Let's see if I can play around and get this to work for me. So you don't want this to jam into your hand. You really want to be careful with that. Look at that. Having some luck. I think I'm going to put a vice grip on this. Get myself a better grip. Friends, if you're going to buy, quote, locking ring pliers, this is a vice grip. Get a vice grip. I've made the mistake of buying others. None of them come close. Not even close. This thing is probably at least 40 years old, maybe 50. Been out on the boats with me. It's rusty as shit. But throw a little bit of WD-40 on it, and it is a superb machine years later. Totally beats the knockoffs right out of the water. Okay. Oops. Go. Now I gotta get hold on it. Relatively certain that this will get my groove enough. Yeah, relatively certain, and then it says, no, you're not going to work no more. Yeah, big one. Back to my right angle, steep. Okay, so this is going to take me a while. I wonder if it's working. Just make sure I'm not wasting my time. One of the things they taught us is to stop and check your work. Because sometimes you maybe think you're on the right track and you're just wasting your time. Oh, look. Okay, I'm on the right track. That's good. That's exactly the width I need. So it's going to take me a little while. You can see about halfway down the distance, which means probably only a third of the way of the cutting that needs to be done. So this is going to take me a while. One thing I've learned in metalworking, which I'm trying to bring to my woodworking, everything takes a lot longer than you think. Be patient. If you try to hurry, you're going to pay a price. A buddy of mine passed away. He was a sniper in Vietnam. And he taught me the sniper's code, which I really love. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. This is the price I'm paying for not being slow and careful when I used the hacksaw a few minutes ago. Oh, you know what? I'm seeing a land there. Usually once you've got a land, you can play hacksaw games on the land. No. No. Dropping stuff on the ground. That's helping. That is helping. Alright. Well, that's helping hog off some material. Oh, that's actually helping. What did I drop on the ground? Pencil. Hello, Mr. Pencil. Didn't even break it. Groovy, man. Okay, let's see. Let's see how our little file that. Ooh, I hogged out a lot. That helped. That helped. Right, let's try this way now. Ooh, that really stops it quick, doesn't it? Yeah. Doesn't like that angle. When it's done, it should be able to do both. But for now, it doesn't like that angle, does it? Yeah, I can see that hacksaw work did a little bit of good. Let's do a touch more of that. That's the angle. That's pretty much the angle I need. It's looking halfway decent. Let's give it a check. Okay, I think we've got enough of that for now. We will expand on that as we get this down. Okay, now. This has to come off here and here. Right, so I need to get all of this off, including all of this. So it'll fit down back in here. Let's, I'm going to keep this around. I'll put the small files back away. Put the square away, put the pencil away. Let's put the hacksaw away. We don't need this piece of cardboard anymore. We probably don't need the clamps. Oh boy, okay. All right, now really to do this right, I've got to do some serious changes. All right, so put that down. Let's go put these clamps back where they belong. I open them all the way up for storage. Stick them in here. And now I gotta get this saw out of the way. Let's put it back where it's gonna end up eventually. Got this neat little handle on the back that I managed to loosen up and make functional again. And this thing on the front seems to be a really nice way to pick this thing up without straining yourself. It's a little awkward, but by holding it the way you just saw, I can manage it. Alright, so let's get this out of the way. We're going to be routering that. Alright. Here, this is my nail gun, which I'm very, very impressed with. I've never owned a nail gun before, and that little girl works. Okay. This is our fence for the table saw. I need to find a good way to store that in here when I move it around. This and this. Wrap these up. What I'm doing, I'm going to take the table saw down. Whoa! Look, that whole thing came off of there. Wow. I thought I had that mounted better than that. Okay, well. Yeah, I see the little screws here. I guess I've been yanking on it a lot. So I'll remount this. Might even put a different one there. Okay. Let's get this wrapped around the table saw itself. The skill saw. This is called a circular saw, excuse me. I'm old and so I call circular saw skill saw. It's just like I call tissue paper Kleenex. Okay, so that's out of the way. Let's get this released. Bam, bam. Loosen these fellas up. Okay. Alright, so now this will come right off of here. Shouldn't be too heavy. Which side do I prefer? I'm going to take it off from this side because I'm going to put it over here. Okay. It's a little awkward, a little heavy, but it's not terrible. Okay, let's clean this mess up. No, I don't have a fancy dust collection system. Yes, I'm perfectly happy with my old-fashioned vacuum cleaner. Okay. Router table time. Here she comes. Here she comes. Alright, router table time. Now, if I remember correctly, I designed this to be mounted the other way. Yeah, I turned the table around for the saw. But this one was designed to be this way. You'll see why in a second. Maybe. Okay, see how these set right up against it? And these will clamp that part right there. Yeah, everybody's looking good. Put that in place. Put this in place. Squeeze them. One unit. All right, so let's see now. I can operate from here. All right, so what we're trying to do again. I misplaced my, there it is. So we're trying to take some material out of here with this bit in here. Let's get her out of the way. Now this is a round bit. This cuts like that. It cuts around. I don't want a round. I want to cut out all of this material. Goodbye. So in order to do that, break out the router bits. Let's see if I've got an appropriate router bit in my pool of goodies. Bought a set of router bits from our friend Harbor Freight not long ago. Yeah. Okay, this fella right here. I think it's a 1/2 inch straight. I think that's what they call it. Let's get it out of there. Oh. 1/2 inch straight is what that's called. Okay, so that's going to be going in there in a second. Come out of the way, fellas. that's there. Let's get the round one out of there. Alright. Oh. Forgot my wonderful Zarn. Loosen the clamps in the back. Flip this little thing out of the way. Everybody drops down and out of the way. Now it's going to be easier to get in there. Okay. Loosen it up. That bit comes out. Well, here, let's put that bit in place it belongs. Well, let's put it exactly in the place it belongs. See how when I take it out of its little blister wrap, I leave it mostly intact. Now it's nice and safe in there. It's not bouncing around hitting pieces of metal. You don't want your bits to hit metal. You don't want your router bits that are designed to hit wood to touch metal ever.